Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Rich from the Philippines. Not so much peso rich, but rich in experience, more or less. And of course, that's my name. Today we're going to talk about things that have changed for me the moment that I moved to the Philippines. Some big, some small, some, not that big of a deal. Others are huge. So the number one thing that changed pretty much immediately for me was the amount of things that changed. Almost everything to me seemed to change the moment I got off the plane. You know, um, like I said, some big, some small. However, things did change. And the second thing that changed that I realized as my stay got longer and longer since I've been here, I think I've told you I'm going on 2 years, is friendships. My friendships in the United States, they have changed. Many, I should say many. And it really, some of them surprised me, the friendships that changed. Some of them made me sad. Some I understood, others I didn't understand. But all in all, it wasn't my place to really think about it too much, just to know that it changed. I've felt so lucky and so blessed to have friends in my life for, some 4 or 5 decades, and to have that change while you're far away can be heartbreaking. It can be sad. Uh, but then you look at the fact that you're here and they're there, um, and you kind of go with the flow and you're like, okay. On the good side of the number two thing, change of friendship, was that all of a sudden I had some new friends in America that I had not been that close with, that all of a sudden, I was closer with, I was talking to more often, and that seemed to be more interested in my travels and journeys, which is cool. You were friends on the fringes, and then, you know, you become better friends. Look, everything changes, and the fact that I had these friends for five decades, so many generations, I'm lucky. I feel blessed that they were in my life. They came for a period, and then they moved on, and I moved on. I really did move on, and I get it. Life is busy over there. Life is busy here too. So that's the number two thing that I noticed that really changed was friendship. The number three thing that I noticed pretty quickly when I got here, and that was that my approach had to change, and it did change. I am, look, I'm just a couple years out of the business world in America, and I liked the business world in America. I thrived for the most part, and I had my own company for a lot of years. I worked a lot of different jobs. I felt that I was truly alpha, in so much as that many of my positions, they weren't salaried. They were commission. Many of my positions, many of them had salaries with the commission, but some of them just had commissions. And I felt comfortable with that. I felt comfortable in my confidence that I could make a living, a good living, and I did. But the point is that how you approach things in America is way different than how you approach things here in the Philippines, in my opinion. As always, I'm interested in your opinion down below. Here things are a little more subtle, whether it's waiting in line for the queue, trying to get your internet hooked up, trying to get your power bill paid, all of that. It's all so, to me, was so different in the approach because it's so soft. I used to tell a family member that if every problem is a nail, the only tool you have is a hammer, and that's how you act 24/7. That's not how it works here. Whether it's a loud dog or karaoke, going over there, raising your fists, and being that kind of American. I don't think, I shouldn't say American, being that kind of guy, because I've seen some pretty aggressive Filipinos too. So not as many, but I've seen them, and it's not the best way to handle the situation. Always, sometimes, but not, certainly not always. So the number three thing I noticed was the approach. my approach changed, and maybe you should think about your approach, and that it should change too. The number four thing that changed for me almost immediately since the moment I got off the plane, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you this. I've traveled the world a little. I've lived in different countries before. I have interacted with, especially in Silicon Valley, you interact, especially when I was growing up, you had engineers and design checkers from all over the world, India, Indonesia, just all over the world. And so you get to appreciate different cultures. What changed for me was my appreciation of Filipinos. I didn't really know. I knew a handful of Filipinos. I knew some Filipinos that I didn't even know they were Filipinos, and I liked them. One of them in particular was my boss, or a boss, I should say. We were on the same level for a while, and that's my appreciation for Filipinos in particular. They are hard, the majority that I've met, hardworking people, you know, honest, open, giving, kind. I just my appreciation for them grew a hundredfold as I got to know them more. And as they opened up to me, I opened up to them. Some of my neighbors, they're so kind and so nice. I just had no idea that this culture, I knew this culture was going to be one that I wanted to know more of. And that's why I came here. I had no idea, though, of how my love for the Filipino would grow. I mean, there isn't a day when I'm not surprised by an act of kindness by a Filipino. Whether it's a smile or whether they help you out or whether you drop your credit card multiple times or your pesos and they're like, "Bo, you forgot this." With that being said, the other thing that changed too is that, you have to appreciate the fact that it's their country, it's their culture. It may not be like the customer service that you're used to, but when people complain about customer service, which may or may not change for you here, I always point back to certain phone companies in America, to certain cable companies in America, automakers, certain businesses in America, that the change of customer attitude has just been credit card companies. You can't tell me, and I won't accept it, that, that the customer service here is so bad, yet the three-letter phone company in America, they have great customer service, or the internet company that, they don't even want you to talk to them. So, yeah, my appreciation for the Filipino has really increased. And one of the last things that have changed, there's so many things that have changed since I arrived. I'm so much more aware of my body as far as healthcare, being aware of, oh my gosh, what is that? Do I need to get it checked out? So many little things. One big thing for me in America, being from an Italian family, is food, and also being a lover of Thai food. I literally could have Thai food every day, and someday I will. But the point is that your food choices change unless you really have a lot of pesos, unless you really strive to go to SNR, and some people do, and that's okay. I just went to SR. Steve took me the other day, and I was blown away. How much it reminded me of Costco, and I think somebody said it was the same family. I don't know. What my point is that you will get used to different foods if you want to enjoy your life here. Or some of you will tell me down below that you strive to cook, and to a point, I'm cooking more, to a point. But on the other hand, if I can go get sizzling sisig for, I don't know, $2.50 or $3, and it's really good and it's really filling. I like a lot of Filipino food. It's just the lack of litos, lettuce, that really bums me out. And I'm working on that. We had an expat here, and I really miss him, new Steve. We had an expat here who grew lettuce, and it was so good. He did such a good job. And if I had half of the inclination, the talent the green thumb that he had, I might be growing my own lettuce. But the moment he left, all the litos died. And so our litos connection went away. I would be interested to hear from you what what things have changed for you once you got here. And the whole point of this video is that you need to think about that before you come. Things are going to change. Some good, most good, some not so good, and some will just change. They won't be either good or bad. They'll just change. But with that in mind, like I said, keep me posted. Thanks for your support. This has been Rich in the Philippines.